Yeah, so in today's session we are discussing about Sling model. So we're discussing about the Sling model. Our Sling model are nothing but the Pojo classes. That means it contains only the variable and getter and setter method. That's it. Yeah, and it has advantages. It will automatically map with your Sling objects, typically with your resource or the request object. So like we have a HTL global object. HTL global object has already created by the Adobe. This many of HTL global objects we have that we use in the backend code. So these are the global objects, right? Here you will see some Sling objects. So these are nothing but the packages. So wherever you will see the Sling, that means there is nothing but the Sling object, right? So this is the first one, the second one. These are nothing but the Sling objects. So if you want this HTL global object, for that we need to inject, we need to map the Sling model with this Sling HTTP servlet request. If you want to get the CRXD data, so basically this Sling model we use to inject the CRXD data in our Sling model. That means in our backend code. I'll give you an example. Yes, the first thing, this is what our Sling model, and this Sling model, like consider now you have a properties. This is what the content, and in this content, maybe your project you have, inside this project, we have a US, there you will see the EN page, and maybe some properties you will see there, right? Inside that, our actual property will store, just like the F,
Piyush, you are not.
and this is what the value. Did you say something? Yes. So this is the first name and we have a value, right? This is the first name and the value. Now Adobe uses the MVC pattern for creating the AEM, right? Adobe uses MVC pattern to create the AEM and storing the content of the AEM. So C is nothing but the controller. Controller is nothing but this content folder. That's it. So initially user will send the request through this content only, right? So if he wants to access this EN page, what he will do, he will send the request like this. First of all content, and after that project, later US, and later that UN, right? Like this way he will send the request, and this is what the extension. This is the default extension, and he will hit the enter and he will get the response, right? The response is coming from this content folder. Second thing, we have a view. View is nothing but the view, and view is nothing but your AEM component. AEM component that we are creating by using HTML extensions, right? So whatever you are seeing in the AEM website, these are nothing but the components only, right? And this component you can see using this view, that means the HTML extension. And the last one, we have a model. So this one we use for the business logic, right? This one we use for the business logic. We note that whenever we'll write the code, that means user will try to access it, we need to print. But sometimes we need to print the logic, right? Or we need to store. In future, whatever user seeing or user is entering a data, this data needs to be stored somewhere. So here the Sling model comes in the picture. So this data, whatever data we have inside this, we need to inject that data. We need to transfer this data from this content to this Sling model. That means to this model. Okay, to this model. So that's why Sling model comes in the picture, right? So Sling model we need to use, we need to create it, and you can get the data from this controller folder, from this content folder. Got it? Got it? How we can do these things? So first of all, before that, so it is entirely annotation driven based. That means not just like your class. You need to define the class, but that class will be entirely annotation based. Okay? That means if you want to create a Sling model, you need to use the annotations. You can even perform on a Sling, perform on a class, or you can even perform on an interface. That means in the both cases we can perform it, right? It has provided already out of the box resources, like just like a value map, Sling binding, OHS services, everything. For everything, you can inject it or you can get it inside your Sling model by using annotations. Okay, it has some advantages. These are the annotations we have, just like a model, inject, name, optional, default, filter, a lot we have. Now this is my Visual Studio Code, and this one I have. Here we have core model. Here only we write the backend code, and this is what the Sling model. Right? This is the model package. Here this is what a default.
Hello.
This is whatever default one. That means when you will create the Maven project, that time it will create this Sling model, right? So first of all, here we have a class. This is whatever class, right? This class, this is whatever class. This is what is our normal class. This normal class we can convert into one Sling model by using this model annotations. By using this model annotation, the normal class we can convert into one Sling model. But make sure that whenever you will use this model annotation, we need to define one attribute that is called as a adaptables. That means we need to tell the behavior. We need to tell the behavior of our class. So like this class is going to access the JCR content, or this class is going to access the HTML global objects. The two things we have, right? HTML global objects we have, and after that what we have? Huh? Yes, exactly, the JCR content, right? So if you want to inject it, so we need to define the behavior here. So adaptables I have defined, and here we have mentioned the resource.class. In Java's point of view, in our AEM point of view, we have CRXD. So in a CRXD, we store nodes. Okay, here we mostly will store the nodes in our CRXD point of view. These are nothing but the nodes. But the same thing when you are coming in the backend code in a Sling model, we say resource. The node is also nothing but the resource only in our backend, right? So the node, if we need it, you need to use resource.class. Got it? Right? After that, here we have OHS service. So we have one concept of OHS service here. That means OHS service is also nothing but the backend code only. So if you want to get the OHS services, for that we need to use this @OHS service annotation, and this is the name of your OHS service. This is the out of the box. You can even get the customized service as well, right? After that, this is what the Sling objects. This is nothing but the Sling object. So in our HTL, this is what your HTL, right? In this HTL, I have already told you, like when you will just fumble here, or when you will just try it here, you will see the Sling packages, right? This is the one, this is the second one. It's just like that, you will see the third one, fourth and fifth, right? So this request, resource, resolver, and this resource, and this Sling, and this response, and even a request. So these are the Sling objects. So if you want to get this object, for that you need to use @Sling object annotations. Got it? You need to use @Sling object annotations, and remaining things if you want it. Here maybe we have 30 or something objects, nearly 30 something objects we have, except this Sling. If anything you want, just like a current page we have, here you see the page manager. If you want to print anything, so for that we have a log out. So if you want to debug your code, for that we have a log, right?
Hello.
Here we have a current. From this style, we have a current style, right? This is what the page. it will give you the current page. The script it has
Yes,
already
bro.
defined there, and they have created the object.
Hello, Piyush. Bro, you
Yes,
are on
please.
mute, bro. You are on mute.
Yes. When I was in mute, man. Okay. So this is what our huh? Exactly. So these are nothing but our HTL global object. We have divided in two parts. The first one is a Sling object. Second one is a script variable. Okay. So if you want to access the Sling objects, just like that, we have a request resolver resource. So you can use alternate Sling object annotations, right? But when you want to use the remaining things, for that we need to use script variable. We need to use script variable. Just like that, here I am just using script variable, and I need a script variable. That's okay, and I need a page. So here I'm just defining. That's it. We need to export. So we need to import this one. We have imported successfully. That's nice, right? Make sure that these are what out of the box classes, right? So if you want to use this current page, so here we have a current page, right? Same object you need to use. You need to create the page, and same object you need to use. If you are using here current page and here you are using one, it's useless. Okay? We cannot get the out of the box thing. Just like that, in this current page, we have a methods and everything. We cannot get it. Okay? So this is just simple, and then after that, this is just simple an API, right? But when you will use this current page, that means somewhere you are in the current page, you can able to access the properties and methods and titles, right? But if we are defining here the custom one, by default it stores the null. Got it? So this is the difference. Let's try to create our own. Maybe somewhere we have a hello world here. Yeah. So this is what, even you can use this in HTML. Okay, even these things you can use in HTML. See here properties, we have page properties and the inherited page property. So this is what, this we can use in the HTML. Mostly we use this HTML code, right? But the same thing you can use it in HTML code as well. But mostly we'll use this in a backend part. Got it? This is the employee name, date of birth and date of joining, and well we have, just try to open the EM page. Yes. So this is what our EM page, right? Somewhere you will see the hello world component. And now I'm going to insert the hello world component. This is what our hello world. Now here we have a CQ dialog, and in this we have an employee name, we have a date of birth, we have a date of joining, and the current address, corresponding address, and the zip code. All this information I'm filling. Search. Date of birth. Here we have date of joining, the current address, get the options of zip code, and there's the default text. Save the changes. Changes I have saved, right? Now where actually it's stored? So it's stored inside your content folder. So in this path it's stored. So this is what the EN. Here you will see the GCI colon contain, true, container, another container. There you will see the options of hello. See, date of birth has stored, right? Just like that, date of joining, the employee name we have. After that, current address and the corresponding everything we have, right? How we can get this? Yes. So the thing is, now this is the data we need to inject in our backend, right? For that, we need to create one Sling model. So here I am going to create one class, hello world. Hello world example dot class, and as I said, what is that? Simply I am going to write here demo.java. Hit enter. Yes. Now it has created, right? So this is what there is our demo.java. Now this is just simple and class. Now we need to convert it into one Sling model. For that we need to use model annotations, right? Import these annotations, but still you will get error. Why? Because it has, by default it will accept one attribute. We need to define anyhow adaptables, and here in this case what we need to get the, we want to get the properties, right? Properties is not where it is stored inside the node. So indirectly we can say we need to get the nodes. If you want to get it, then for that we need to use here resource. Here we need to find the resource. We need to import org apache sling dot, you will see somewhere. Yes, org apache sling dot resource. Yeah, this is the one. We added this, and later that, now see, so this is the resource I have added, right? So resource dot class I have added, and this resource dot class, where is the resource dot class? Here we have options. So that means this resource dot class is injected with this annotation, just like that the value we have. So if you are using this annotation present, that means you can use this annotation when you inject or when you adapt this resource dot class. Just like that, you can use this Sling object annotation when you adapt this Sling HTTP servlet request, right? So when you use Sling HTTP servlet request, when you will adapt Sling model as a Sling HTTP servlet request, then only you can use this Sling object. Then only you can use this @script variable. Okay. And when you will use the resource, then only you can use the default. Then only you can use the @volume of value or maybe a name annotations. Not defined, but here the resource dot class has, when you will inject this one, they have defined these types of logic. When you will inject this, when you will adapt this resource dot class, that means now you are able to use this annotations, just like value, default, and the name. Just like that, when you will adapt in your Sling model level here at line number 6, when you will adapt here Sling HTTP servlet request, Sling HTTP servlet request, then you can use, now you can able to use this Sling object as script way. Got it? Huh? If you want to use the both, in this case here we need to define the array, that's it. In this array you can use, here you can define resource.class, that's it. Both now we are using, right? Other option also we have, this is not the recommended way to use this. So if you want to use right now, consider now we are using the resource, sorry, Sling HTTP servlet request we are using, right? So mostly we have work of this Sling objects only, right? We are working on the Sling object, so mostly we have work of Sling object. But in this case, now 99% I am using the Sling or Sling HTTP servlet request, that means the HTML global object. But somewhere we need to fetch the resources as well, right? So if I want to fetch the resources, value map value, this is the thing, this is the annotation we need to use. If you want to fetch the resources from this CRSD, you need to use this value map value annotation. Here you need to define public string and which one. Now right now this is what our current resource. I'll tell you later how we exactly got this current resource only. Why didn't we get this teaser and copyright? Why only we got this hello world, right? Inside that we have an address, right? Address, date of birth, this is the employee name. So now this is the employee name I want. This is the value I want. When user will write in this CQ dialog, this value will store inside this employee name, and this value is a dynamic. Maybe user will change continuously, right? So this value will store here, and this is the value I need in this Sling model, in my Sling model. So this is the variable we need to use. Make sure that both the name, your resources properties and your Java properties, that means this Java variable, both names should be same. If here we have a employee name and here you are define employee name 1, then this property it won't inject with each other, right? So make sure that both the name should be same on it. It must be same. Got it? But these annotations are part of the resource.class, right? So in this case you can use the via annotations. In that case you can use the via annotation and mention like this is the class or this is the annotation. Now it has related to your sling.resource.class, right? Okay. Yes, resource. Now this is the value map value, this properties. Now it's not related to this Sling HTTP servlet request. Yes. No, nothing. So Sling HTTP, two things we have, no? Sling HTTP servlet request and the resource.class, right? So what I'm saying is, like it's not a recommended way to use both things, Sling HTTP servlet request and the resource.class. If you are using both, the thing will load like an instance of memory. So only one you should need to inject it, and after that still you want to use this value map value, right? This is the part of the resource, right? But this resource I haven't imported, I haven't adapted, but still I want to use this annotation. So in this case we need to use the via and make it a resource.class. That means make it the resource. Now that means if we have given the permission to this properties, that means to this annotation to adapt here. We have given a proper permission to this value map value to adapt in this class without adapting the resource.class, right? If it is getting confused, remove this and make it resource. Define the resource.class. But this is not the recommended way. Got it? Yes. Just like that, we have another properties, value map value. now I need a date of birth. So here it has in date format. If you want, you can get in date format as well, right? Use here date. Value map value, and you will see here date of joining, public string date of joining, at the rate value map value. Okay, here you can use public string where it is address. Yes, we got the address, right? But there is not only one option to inject the properties. We have another one. By using that annotation also we can inject it. That's called as a @inject. This is called as a @inject, but it's having a drawback. So in this case, what it will do is, here we have an injection strategy. In this case, first of all, when you will use the @inject, so it will search all the script variable annotation. It will search and it will start executing and it will start searching here. So like consider there is the public string and here I am using properties. Here I am using the corresponding address. Go there and paste it. Yes. Excellent. So this is the corresponding address. First of all, it will try to find out inside the script variable. Script variable is nothing but this HTML object. Okay, this HTML object are nothing but the script variable. So consider this current page is part of the script variable. So it will goes inside this current page. It will search all the page things, and after that it will try to find it. Just like that, later it will search current session, then style. So this is the first step. Second strategy we have. Then after that it will goes to your value map value. Value map value is nothing but your properties of your CRX string. So this is the one. Hello world. This is what your properties, and properties object is properties, right? That means when you are using this class, which one, the value map value, directly it will comes and it will pick the properties from here. It won't go anywhere. Directly it will come inside the properties and it will execute this thing, right? But when you will use the inject, first of all it gives the priority to the script variable. Secondly, it gives the priority to the value map value. That means to this properties type. Got it? So two things we have, but mostly we use this @value map value. What we have later? Okay, so everything we have covered. Now come here and use the getter method. If you want to pass the value to the view, for that we need to use the getter method. So for first thing, the employee name, right? Get employee. Getter method is important. We need to define employee name. Public string. Just like that, we have a get the address. Address you can get. Address, that's nice. Public string, get the corresponding address. Corresponding address, right? Just like that, we have a date of birth. String, get date of return date of birth. Anything else? So date of joining you. So we have defined the getter methods, right? The getter methods we have defined it. But directly, if user haven't configured the informations here, like consider in this CQ dialog, I haven't defined anything. So initially it will store the null value. Nothing it will store there, right? And this is what the imply. So if user haven't authored anything, then by default null value will store, right? It will store the null value. And in future, maybe consider you are performing a operations, like just like that employee name dot get the length. This is what the string. So if you are trying to find out the length of this, right? So what you will get the null pointer exception, right? You will get the null pointer exception. So if you want to prevent, you can define a default value here. Under it, you can use the default value. Okay? You can use this annotation and pass the default value to this employee name. So it will accept the boolean value, it will accept the doubles, it accept the floats, integer, short and value. So value is nothing but the string of array. So you can even define multiple or you can define a single one, right? There is the one. Just like that you can use the second one as well. Or other things like we have another annotation that's called as an @name value and @name annotations we have. This annotation we use Sling column. Come in the CRXT. In this CRXT we have a property. Click in this hello world. You will see the Sling column resource type. Right? This is whatever Sling column resource type. Just like that, here we have a CQ last modified type. Same thing here we have a JCR last modified. In some cases, in some scenarios, we need this things. We need this property. But what's the rule here? Whenever you are injecting the properties from CRXT to the Java properties, same name we need, right? We cannot differentiate. If you are differentiating, what it will happen? It's the value what inject inside this variable. But Sling colon resource type we cannot define in our Java. The variable we cannot define like this way. The colon we cannot use. We can use underscore, right? But we cannot use we can use underscore, but we cannot use the colon. But property here we have defined, that is, this is the by default one. And this property is like that only, Sling colon resource type. To prevent this, we have introduced the name annotation. So here we have introduced the name annotation concept. You can directly add here Sling colon resource type. Now it will inject in this variable. Now anything you can define, any name you can define it. Yes, Sling colon resource type we have defined. Got it? Now inside that, this path will inject. This path will come. Okay, so in this variable, come here and create a public string get Sling resource type. Sling colon resource type, right? Then there is one. Here we have an optional by default. When you will deploy it, the properties are null only. When you will deploy and deployment are successful, and when you just try to refresh it in this hello world, you will get the error because user haven't opened it, right? User haven't opened this CQ dialog. So initially it will store the null value only. Initially it will store the null value. So user needs to configure the information first of all. Okay, got it? User needs to configure or author the information. But By default, these properties are required properties. So user needs to be filled the information. If user is not filling the information, will get the null pointer exception. When this page will load, once you load it, directly you will get the error here. So in that case, what we have to do is you can use optional. You can use optional. Now this property is an optional property. Whether user have defined or user haven't defined, that's okay. It won't throw the null pointer exception. Just like that, you need to use here as well. If you want to make this property as an optional, define here as well. Same thing we need to define for this date of birth, date of joining. Same thing for address. Same for your corresponding value. Now consider we have 1000 variable. So we need to manually define everywhere at the rate option. No. By default it's a required. Directly will change as a class level. Will change from required to optional. That's it. So all these property will be optional then. Come here, default injection strategy. Default injection strategy dot optional. That's it. This is the attribute we need to use. This is what the key and this is what the value. This is the class. Here we have one constant, and when you will use, so now this Sling model has changed the required properties to optional. But still, now all the properties are optional. But some of the things you need as a required. There you can use @required annotation. That's it. There you can use @required annotation. If you need, you can use @required annotation, right? And it won't throw null pointer. This time it won't throw null pointer. If you haven't written it, that is also okay. It won't throw null pointer exception because now this property is an option. It's optional. At the required, yeah. This time then we need to fill the information. So initially you will get the error here. That's okay. Avoid that error. Initially you get the error. We need to avoid that error, and after that we need to fill the information. You have to fill the information here. So once you configure it and you have filled the information, that error will go. Exactly. So that thing I'll tell you when we call inside the HTML, that time it comes. I'll tell you, no issue. But before that, I will complete our Sling model, right? So here zip code we have. The last one, the zip code. Zip code also will take. @volume of value. Public string. Get this. Yes. Here we have another annotation, that is current page. So if you want to use the current page, for that you need to use script variable page, and here you can use the current page options. We need to import this current page API. It's present in your WCM something. There is the com.date.cq.wcm.api. Yes, the current page. I'm coming at the last. You can perform any operation on the current page. Maybe from the current page you want to get the data. Get the page. current page dot here we have options when it has deleted, when it get the description, get the name of the page, get the path of the page. You can even get the title as well. So we can get the title, right? So all these methods we are accessing, and we are able to access it because this is what the current page, and this current page is nothing but the global object. Okay, so all the permission and everything we don't need to define. Everything they already have defined, we just simply have to use. Just like that, Sling object also, OHGI services as well. So here at the rate OHGI service, and here I have out of the box service, just like query builder. Query builder I have. You can use query builder. So this is what the out of the box. We'll see later. Count the daily secure access. This is the query. Okay. By using that, you can create a query, you can perform the CRUD operations on the query. But this is what the OHGI, out of the box OHGI service. There is nothing but the backend code. If you want, you can use OHGI service annotation and get this thing. Right? We have a Sling object, so anything if you need related to a Sling object, you can get it. Public. Sling HTTP servlet request, right? Sling HTTP servlet request, and here we need to use the request. That's it. Like that. If you want to perform any operation, now you can perform it. Right? So these are the methods and Sling model we have written it. Now the thing is where actually we need to call. Right? So we know that here it uses the MVC pattern, right? MVC pattern, that is model view controller, and this content is nothing but our controller. So from here only it is passing information. Maybe from this content folder, what we have a hello world, right? This is the one we have. This is the path we have, right? In this path, this component, that means here this is the hello world. This hello world is having a secure dialog. There we are filtering, that means we are authoring the data. That data it is storing inside the content. So where we have users inside the page, right? Inside the page we have added the hello world. There we are getting it. That means that content it is coming from the hello world component, right? Hello world component it is coming. So now create one Sling model, get all this data from this hello world, and when now data we have inside this Sling model. Okay, this is nothing but is a model. There is nothing but what controller, right? This is what controller. Now the last it has left, that is view. That is the important part. We are writing a logic, we are getting a data, we are writing a logic, and at the last we need to print it. Okay, so now the thing is we need to create the object. You cannot get this model directly, right? You need to create a object for this. Here we need to create an object. For whom we need to create the object? For this Sling model, right? Exactly. So for that we need to create a Sling model. Why? What happened? Okay. So we got a Sling model. Right? So we got a data. Now this data we need to render on a page or in a component, right? Which component? Hello world. To the hello world, right? So for that, for this Sling model, we need to create object. We cannot directly use it, right? So we know that the data it is present inside our method, in the getter method. So if you want this data, you need to create the object for this div, right? How we can create the object? So name of the class, After that, the object is equals to new and demo. And if I want to call it, then object dot get method name. Get method. So there is the Java. There is the Java, right? But in our HTML, if you want to call it, we need to create data slide use. So basically, we use one attribute that's called as a data slide use, and it's responsible to create the object for this class. But here you need to mention where your class has stored. Okay, where your actually class has stored and what's the name of this class, right? So here you need to mention the package dot your class name. After the package, you need to mention your class name. That's it. Don't mention the Java extensions. No need. So this data slide use is responsible to create the class, create the object for your class. Not only for that, if you want to create the object for your HTML, if you want to create the object for the JavaScript or use API, we need to use the same attribute. That's called as a data slide use, right? Where we can call. So here we have a component. Hello world components we have. See, this is what the hello world component. Just double click on it, and after that, remove all this code. Right? Remove all this code and create a class, create an object. Div. I'm closing a div here, and after that data slide use. And here I'm creating an object, and where this class is stored. So this class stored inside this package. Copy this class, come here and paste it. Later that dot and what's the name? Demo. We know that our class name is demo. First thing has done. Second thing, call the methods. So paragraph I'm just opening and close the paragraph. Right? After that, what I want to print is the employee name. The employee name I want to print. But this employee name, if you want it, you need to call to this employee name method. Then only you can get. So here I'm just saying employee name I'm printing. Employee name. Dollar curly braces open and close. Object dot method. What's the method name? Yes, copy this one. Come here and paste it. That's it. Okay, like this way we call in Sling when we when we invoke the method in our Java, like this we call, right? Object dot the method name. But here there is one rule. We need to remove this parenthesis open and close, and first getter. First get name we need to remove and make this E from capital to small. This is the rule we need to follow. Just like that, I'll give you another example. Yes. Second, we have a date of joining, right? Date of joining. Date of birth also we have. Date of birth. Maybe we have address, corresponding address. Do we have anything? Zip code. Zip code, maybe we have a Sling resource type, right? Sling column resource type. Sling resource type. And the last one we have, that is get the page title. Page title. Here and call methods first when we call this employee name. Now get the zip code. Where is the zip one? Yeah, this one, right? Come here and paste it. Remove this get, make this D. Give the address. Where is the address? This also. What we have to do? Remove the gate and make this A small. get corresponding address, copy here, corresponding address, paste it, remove this A and make this C small. That's it. Remaining things are same. Not possible. Huh? Not possible. The first name, maybe if it is not a date of joining, maybe here we have is. So we need to remove this is. Right? We need to remove this is. After date of joining, we got it, right? Date of joining, did we get? Date of joining, where it is, yeah. Make this as small. I'll just take the page name. Yes, there's the one we have. The changes we have made inside the CRXD. So we need to import it from CRXD to UI apps. Go there, source. This whatever component here you will see the hello world. Where's the hello world? Otherwise, at the same time, if you have did the changes in more than one component, directly you need to take you need to go inside this components, right click over here and input from the AEM components, right? From the AEM server you need to import it. If it has imported, in the right hand side you will see the options of successfully imported. Now when you will go inside this component, hello world, now HTML you will see the changes. It has reflected, right? Changes has reflected. When to deploy the code, come here, terminal, new terminal. We sync it from CRXD to AEM. Sorry, CRXD to the Visual Studio. Okay, so changes, what the thing is, like when you will do the changes in the UI apps, no need to deploy it, right? But when we do the changes in the code, that means we have written the backend code, right? For that we need to we need to deploy it. And the changes we already knows that backend code is stored inside the core module. So only core module we need to deploy. Don't try to deploy the entire project, right? And for the backend code, we have a specific command. We auto install. Maven clean install p auto install button. Hit it. Okay. Test case has failed, right? So saying please refer to dump files if any existing is dump or test failure. It has saying test failure. Where? Which file it is? Hello world model test and get the test and null pointer it has returned it, right? Core model. You can even skip the test cases. The genuine test cases you can skip, but test here we have, and we are getting the error in this hello world model test, right? Here we are getting the error in this method test get message. That means we did some changes inside this hello world model. That is the thing we have added extra, right? Save it and again try to declare. Okay, so once has deployment as successful, we'll get the result, right? We'll get the result in this component. Yes, deployment has success. Come here, try to refresh it. Initially it takes some time, so we need to go and we need to check the bundle, system console bundle. Click here and make it in descending order and person here. Yeah, so it is an install step, so it takes some time. It takes some time. Yeah, so it's active right now. Now again you can refresh.